Wait, what did you just say? The hallway went silent, except for the buzzing of whispers. My heart dropped when I heard my story, the one only she knew, being passed around like a worn-out joke. I mean, I heard she was in therapy for self-harm last year. Crazy, right? Someone muttered near the lockers. I froze.
No one was supposed to know that.
Only one person had ever heard that secret from me. My best friend. My ride or die. The girl who held my hand through my panic attacks. Madison Claire Bennett. She saw me at my lowest. And now, she'd handed that to the world like it was gossip fodder. I didn't cry. Not yet. I just turned, made eye contact with her across the hallway, and smiled. Not because I forgave her. Because I already knew what I was going to do next. My name is Aubrey Taylor, 17 years old, born and raised in a quiet suburb just outside of Austin, Texas. I'm a senior at Westbrook High, where life revolves around college applications, football games, and pretending you're happier than you are. I was always the quiet one, the overachiever, the old soul, the girl who sat front row in class and back row in the cafeteria. I didn't party. I didn't chase boys. I journaled. I painted. I got A's. And I tried really, really hard not to fall apart. I've battled anxiety since I was 11. It crept in like fog and never quite left. There were nights I'd stare at my ceiling, heart pounding for no reason, breath caught in my throat, just waiting for the panic to pass. There were days I didn't talk to anyone at school, afraid I'd say the wrong thing or worse, start crying in public. And through all of it there was Madison. Madison Bennett was everything I wasn't: loud, magnetic, effortlessly cool. Blonde waves, big laugh, perfect eyeliner at 7 a.m. She came from money, lived in a white brick house with pillars and a circular driveway. Her dad was a defense attorney, her mom a former pageant queen turned luxury realtor. She was the kind of girl who people just assumed had a future. Ivy League dreams, homecoming court, followers in the thousands. And somehow, we became best friends. It started in 8th grade, when she saw me crying in the bathroom and offered me a piece of gum instead of a pep talk. That was Madison's thing, no drama, just distraction. Let's skip 5th period and go get frozen yogurt, she'd say. Or, screw that teacher, let's watch Netflix and pretend it's the weekend. She made me feel seen without making me feel broken. By sophomore year, we were inseparable. Everyone knew us as a duo. I was the calm to her chaos, the planner to her impulse. I helped her with essays. She taught me how to use highlighter and flirt with senior boys. She made me feel normal. When my anxiety spiraled junior year, Madison was the one who drove me to therapy when my mom was working late. She sat in the waiting room with my headphones on, scrolling through TikTok while I told some stranger about how I didn't want to exist sometimes. And when I started self-harming, barely, just a few lines on my wrist with the edge of a paperclip, it was Madison who found the marks. She didn't cry. She didn't tell anyone. She just looked at me and said, "You don't have to do that anymore. I've got you." I believed her. We had a code, an understanding. Madison could be reckless, but I always thought she was loyal. I thought wrong. It was senior year when everything shifted. College season hit like a storm. Suddenly, our group chats were filled with screenshots of Common App essays, SAT scores, rejection letters, and acceptances. Everyone was on edge. It was like living in a reality show. One by one, dreams were getting crushed or crowned. Madison had her heart set on Columbia University. She talked about New York like it was heaven, and she was born to walk its streets. She toured the campus over the summer, met professors, posted selfies with the statue of Alma Mater. She even bought a Columbia hoodie 2 months before decisions came out. I didn't have dreams that big. I was applying to local schools, UT Austin, Texas A&M. I didn't want the pressure. I wanted to be close to home, to mom, to the life I knew. Still, I helped Madison with her essay. I sat with her at Starbucks 3 weekends in a row, editing every paragraph, making sure her voice sounded both brilliant and authentic. I even gave her a line from my own essay that she liked more than hers. I thought we were a team. But something changed in her eyes when I got accepted to UT Honors Program early decision, and she didn't hear back yet from Columbia. She stopped texting as much. Started canceling plans. Said she was stressed and busy, which I believed, until I noticed she was hanging out with some of the other girls more. The ones who used to make fun of my thrift store clothes and ask if I was okay, with fake pity in their voice. One day at lunch, Madison told me to sit somewhere else because she was saving seats. I laughed at first, thinking it was a joke, but she didn't laugh back. By December, I was barely in her life. And I kept telling myself she was just overwhelmed, that she'd come back to me, that friendships ebb and flow. But then the betrayal came. It was a Tuesday morning, the day before winter break. I walked into school and felt it immediately. That weird shift in the air, the weight of too many eyes. People were whispering behind locker doors, looking at me, then looking away too quickly. Then I heard it. Did you hear she used to cut herself? Like deep. Her best friend had to hide the razors. My skin went cold. I kept walking, kept pretending I didn't hear. But the walls were closing in. I reached the bathroom and locked myself in a stall. My hands were shaking. I opened Instagram just to distract myself, and that's when I saw it. A post. On someone's private story. A black screen with white text. Be kind. You never know who's been in therapy for self-harm. Followed by a laughing emoji.
And a tag. Me.
It was subtle, coded, cruel. But I knew who started it. There was only one person who knew all the details. Only one person I had trusted. Madison. I didn't cry. I just stared at myself in the mirror. I looked at the girl with the chipped nail polish and tired eyes, and I felt something shift. Something harden. That night, I didn't eat dinner. I didn't answer my mom's knock on my door. I just sat on my floor, phone in hand, scrolling through months of texts. Madison had deleted a few, but I had screenshots. I had everything. And in that moment, I remembered something. Weeks earlier, Madison had been freaking out because her Columbia portal glitched, and she couldn't find her decision letter. She had forwarded the email to me, asking if it looked like an acceptance. It wasn't. It was a rejection. I remembered because the subject line said, "We regret to inform you." She had begged me not to tell anyone. Said she was going to lie about it, pretend she was deferred to save face until she could reapply. At the time, I said nothing. I even comforted her, told her it didn't define her.
But now?
Now that she had sold my pain for attention, I had a decision to make. Not to stoop to her level, but to show her who she messed with. I didn't act right away. Revenge, real revenge, doesn't come in a rush of emotion. It's cold, quiet, controlled, like holding a glass of water in your hand while the room burns. For a few days, I went about my life like normal, head down, headphones in, eyes glazed. Madison didn't even try to talk to me. She just posted selfies with the same girls who used to whisper behind my back. Her captions were filled with glittery quotes about loyalty and truth, as if she was the one betrayed. It was poetic, really. She burned me using a truth I never gave anyone but her, and in return, she gave me a lie she never expected me to hold on to. Her college rejection. Most people would have deleted that email. But not me. I still had it. Buried deep in my archived messages, like a buried mine waiting to detonate. "We regret to inform you." I remembered how panicked she'd been. How she called me from her bedroom closet whispering, "No one can find out. My mom will kill me." I already told people I got deferred. I had nodded. I had promised. She should have never broken hers. That Friday afternoon, I sat on my bed, laptop open, fingers hovering over the keyboard. I didn't want to just expose her. I wanted the truth to speak for itself. I created a clean Gmail account, anonymous, untraceable. I copied the rejection letter word for word, even left in the date and headers. I changed nothing. I didn't embellish. I didn't exaggerate. Then I drafted the message. Subject, FYI, just so the rumors are honest. Body. Before anyone starts praising Madison Bennett for her early acceptance to Columbia, just make sure you read the real email first. Attached screenshot. Line's a funny thing. Sometimes it starts with someone else's pain and ends with your own. It wasn't vicious. It was surgical. I hit send.
To 3 people.
Just 3. Enough to plant a spark in dry brush. By Monday, it was wildfire. It started in AP Government. I walked in and noticed Madison's usual group sitting oddly quiet. One of them, Kylie, was scrolling her phone, eyebrows raised. She looked up at Madison and said, "Did you really lie about Columbia?" The blood drained from Madison's face. "I didn't lie," she said too fast. I just didn't feel like explaining that I was rejected. I was going to reapply. That's all. But no one was buying it. The rejection letter had been forwarded again and again. People dissected it like it was a leaked celebrity memo. She didn't even get deferred. And she had the audacity to bully Aubrey? The shift was fast, almost brutal. By lunchtime, she was no longer sitting at the center table. She was off to the side, pretending to scroll through her phone while everyone avoided eye contact. I watched it all happen from the far end of the cafeteria, sipping from a juice box like I wasn't the architect of the collapse. I didn't gloat. I didn't smile. But deep down, I felt something settle in my chest for the first time in weeks. Justice. A quiet, still kind of justice. The kind that doesn't need to scream. That evening, Madison finally texted me. "Madison, did you do this?" Me. Do what? Madison. Leak my Columbia letter. Me. Funny. I don't recall forwarding your private business to the entire school. Madison. You're seriously sick. I was your friend. Me. And I was yours. Until you weren't.
She didn't respond.
For days, she didn't show up to school. Rumors circled. Some said she was grounded. Others said she was mentally recovering from the humiliation. No one mentioned how I had to recover after being humiliated by her. That Friday, I found her sitting on the bench outside the guidance office, face pale, fingers picking at her cuticles. She looked up as I passed. "You win," she said quietly. I paused. I didn't do it to win. Then why? I studied her for a moment, because sometimes the truth deserves to walk free, even when it limps. Her eyes welled. For a second, I saw the Madison I used to know, the one who brought me ginger ale when I had panic attacks, who painted my nails and told me I was strong even when I wasn't. But that girl had buried me for attention, and I wasn't burying myself for her again. As I walked away, a strange calmness filled me. Not the high of revenge, but the satisfaction of having set the balance straight. I didn't ruin her life. I just stopped letting her rewrite mine. Madison didn't stay silent for long. After nearly a week of whispers, isolation, and a reputation crumbling faster than senior year motivation, she came back swinging. And she aimed directly at me. It started with a post on her Instagram story, a black and white selfie with mascara-streaked cheeks, set to sad indie music, captioned, "Funny how some people forget all the times you were there for them the second they have a grudge." I didn't respond. Neither did most people. But then came the second wave. By Monday, a few of Madison's former followers turned sympathizers started reposting her story, adding vague, shady captions of their own. There are two sides to every story. Some people love playing victim. And just like that, the narrative started to split. Some people remembered what Madison had done. But others just wanted drama. High school thrives on half-truths and loud liars. One girl, Avery, even cornered me in the hallway near the vending machines. "Hey, Aubrey," she said with a tone soaked in fake sweetness. "I'm not taking sides or anything, but don't you think what you did was kind of cruel?" I mean, Madison's been going through stuff too. I stared at her, blinking slowly. "Cruel," I repeated. "I'm just saying, leaking a rejection letter? That's cold. And you know she's under so much pressure at home." She wasn't under pressure when she turned my trauma into a school-wide joke, I said, voice steady. Avery raised her eyebrows, clearly not expecting that response. "Okay, well, whatever. Just saying." She turned and flounced away. But I knew what was happening. Madison was rebuilding her army, one follower at a time. That week, the tension on campus thickened. It felt like walking through fog. Some people high-fived me in the halls. Others avoided eye contact like I carried a virus. And then came the apology tour. Madison started pulling girls aside between classes. I just need you to hear my side, she'd say. Or, Aubrey's twisting the truth. I never meant to hurt her. It was a misunderstanding. She even tried it on Lena, my lab partner, and one of the only people who stuck with me since middle school. But Lena wasn't having it. She came up to me after class, Lena said as we walked to the parking lot, with that fake soft voice. You know the one she uses when she wants something. I laughed.
Yeah.
Her vulnerable princess tone. She said she was worried about you, that you might spiral again. That leaking her letter was a red flag. My stomach tightened. She said that. Lena nodded. She's trying to flip the whole thing. Make it look like you're the unstable one. The word unstable hit harder than I expected. It wasn't just gossip anymore. Madison was aiming at my mental health, trying to repaint me as a threat to myself and others. And that was war. I knew I couldn't win by shouting louder. Madison was too practiced at crying on cue. I needed to stay calm.
Sharp.
Surgical. So, I started documenting everything. Screenshots. Messages. Old texts.
Dates. Times.
Notes from therapy sessions she once begged me to share. The things she knew. The moments she used against me. I wrote it all down. But I didn't release it.
Not yet.
Instead, I told my truth quietly. One-on-one. Person to person. Not for sympathy, but for clarity. I told her something in confidence. I explained to a friend from art class. Something dark. Something I never told anyone else. And she used it for attention. Most people listened. Some even apologized for doubting me. Even more surprising, someone switched sides. Her name was Brooke. Brooke had been part of Madison's inner circle since freshman year. The kind of girl who always matched her nail polish to her iced coffee lid and posted aesthetic notes on her Instagram grid. I never liked her. But suddenly she was sitting next to me in study hall. You know, she said without looking up, I think what Madison did was worse than what you did. I blinked. Sorry, what? She told me everything you told her. Like everything. Stuff I never wanted to know about anyone. I used to think she was just venting. But now I think she was collecting her pain to feel powerful. I stared at her. She turned to face me. I'm not asking to be friends. I just wanted to say, I get it now. It was small, but it meant something. By the next week, Madison's strategy had changed again. Now she was leaning into the forgive and forget narrative. She posted a TikTok to that trending sound about healing from fake friends, with old pictures of us, laughing, hugging, matching Halloween costumes. The caption read, No hard feelings. I still wish you well. Red heart. I didn't comment, but I got DMs. Natalie, JV soccer. OMG, that TikTok made me cry. Do you miss her at all? Gabe, yearbook editor. Y'all were so close. It's so sad how things ended. That's when it hit me. She wasn't trying to win me back. She was trying to win them. She wanted to be the girl who forgave the one who hurt her, even though she started the war. And yet, I didn't strike back. Because I didn't need to. Her strategy was collapsing on its own. The more she talked, the more obvious it became to people that she wasn't really sorry, just sorry she got caught. And the final crack came from an unexpected place. It was Mrs. Gaines, our school counselor. She pulled me into her office after third period. I've had a few girls stop by lately, she said carefully. Concerned about how you're handling things. Madison, for example. I raised an eyebrow. Concerned? She said she was worried your mental health was spiraling. That your behavior has been erratic. I clenched my jaw. Mrs. Gaines watched me. Aubrey, is that true? No, I said firmly. I've been doing better than I have in years. And if you want documentation, my therapist will confirm it. She leaned back in her chair, eyes narrowing just slightly. Interesting. Because she told me you might be a risk to others. That's when I broke. Not into tears. Not into panic. I broke into clarity. Madison is trying to weaponize my anxiety, I said, voice low and measured. because I stopped letting her control me. There was silence. Then Mrs. Gaines nodded slowly. I believe you. I exhaled, long and sharp. She opened her desk drawer. If you have any records, feel free to email them. In the meantime, I'll be speaking to Madison about the danger of making those kinds of accusations. And that was it. Madison had officially crossed a line that no one could ignore. And I had stayed solid. That Friday, as the final bell rang and lockers slammed shut like cymbals, I walked out of school knowing one thing. I didn't need to destroy Madison. She was doing that on her own. But I did need to protect myself. Not just from her, but from the kind of people who clapped when I was bleeding and left when I started to heal. So I cleared out my social media, blocked the vague posters, deleted old photos. And when I got home, I took down the corkboard full of pictures in my bedroom, the one with Polaroids of me and Madison at the beach, with blue tongues and wind in our hair. I replaced it with a canvas, a blank one, because the next chapter of my life would be mine to paint. The college acceptance season hit like a wave across the school. Everyone suddenly started walking taller, flashing envelopes from Yale, Stanford, Brown. Guidance counselors couldn't stop smiling. It was a parade of potential and privilege. And Madison? She was obnoxiously confident. I mean, Harvard just gets me, she boasted in econ class, chewing on a pink pen like she was in a teen movie. They'll probably fast-track me to pre-law. I watched from the back of the room. Quiet. Calculated. Because I already knew something she didn't. Her early decision letter had arrived 2 days ago. And it wasn't what she expected. See, karma doesn't always wait for graduation. Sometimes it arrives as a single sentence. We regret to inform you. I hadn't even meant to see it. But Madison had been sloppy. She'd left her laptop open during a study group at her place. Everyone else was grabbing snacks. I stayed back to go to the bathroom. Her email was open. Her world was open. And just like that, boom, the rejection was mine to keep. I took a screenshot. Sent it to myself. Then waited. At first, I didn't plan on using it. I thought maybe I'd let the universe handle her. Maybe the weight of her own lies would crush her. But then she posted a TikTok, mocking people who use therapy as an identity, wearing my pain like a costume. So no, I wasn't waiting anymore. I created an anonymous Instagram account. No name, no face, just one post. Graduation cap. Madison Bennett talks a lot about Harvard. But here's what Harvard said back. Screenshot. The school saw it within minutes. It was forwarded, screenshotted, whispered through bathrooms and bus rides. Her lie had exploded. By the end of third period, Madison was in the counselor's office. By fourth, she was crying in the bathroom. By lunch, she had deleted her entire Harvard series from social media. Everyone knew. No one said a word to me, but they looked at me differently. Like they sensed the storm behind my calm. Did I feel guilty?
No.
Because what she did wasn't just betrayal. It was a wound. And I didn't throw the first punch. I just delivered the last one. I should have felt powerful. I should have felt like the girl who finally got justice. But that night, as I stared at the glowing screen, watching Madison's followers drop by the hundreds, something in me felt off. There she was, live streaming in her bedroom, tears smudging her mascara, trying to salvage the wreckage of her perfect image. I didn't think it'd matter, she sniffled. It was just a joke. I didn't mean to hurt anyone.
She meant me.
I knew that. But hearing her say it so raw, so broken, hit a strange nerve. I closed the app, got up,
Paste.
and suddenly, the silence of my room felt loud, deafening. It was supposed to feel like closure. It felt like chaos. The next morning, the school hallways were split in two. Some people high-fived me in the hallway. Others whispered that I had gone too far. And Madison? She walked in wearing sunglasses, head low, her once loyal group trailing behind her like confused shadows. For the first time, Madison Bennett wasn't the center of attention. She was the subject of it. And then it happened.
She walked up to me.
We were near the lockers, between second and third period. Her voice was calm, but her hands were shaking. You did this, she whispered. I didn't flinch. You did it first.
She scoffed.
It was a dumb story. It wasn't even that serious. My voice broke without meaning to. It was my story. And then I said something I didn't plan to. You made me feel disgusting. Like my depression was something to laugh at. Do you even know what that did to me? Madison blinked. Her expression shifted, just a flicker of something that looked a lot like shame. I didn't know, she muttered. Yeah, I said. Because you didn't ask. There was a pause. And for the first time ever, Madison looked small. I'm sorry, she said. Not loudly. Not for anyone else to hear. Just for me. And as strange as it sounds, it felt real. But it didn't erase what she did. Or what I did in return. That night, I lay awake again. But this time with clarity. Revenge felt good for a moment. But healing? That was different. That didn't come from watching someone else break. It came from deciding not to let their damage define me. So I opened my laptop, logged back into the anonymous Instagram account, and deleted the post. Not because she didn't deserve the consequences, but because I deserved peace. And peace doesn't grow in the soil of revenge. It grows in truth, in boundaries, in strength, and in knowing that I am more than what someone tried to make me feel. The days that followed felt quieter, softer somehow. Madison wasn't the queen of the school anymore, but she wasn't a complete pariah either. People began seeing her for what she really was, flawed, human, and probably a little scared. Just like the rest of us.
Me?
I started walking through the halls without my headphones in, without needing to shrink. For the first time, I felt seen, but not for the reasons I once feared. Not because my secrets had been spilled, but because I had reclaimed them. My story was mine again. In English class, we had an assignment. Write about a moment that changed you. I wrote about that bathroom stall, the overheard laughter, the humiliation. But I also wrote about the moment I took my power back, not by lashing out, but by choosing to let go. When Ms. Hart handed it back, there was a single word written at the top in red ink. Brave. And for once, I believed it. I won't pretend everything turned perfect after that. Healing isn't some clean upward climb. It's messy. Some days, I still feel the sting of betrayal. But I also learned something essential. People will disappoint you. But your response? That's your superpower. Madison and I never became friends again. And that's okay. Sometimes closure isn't about hugging it out or becoming besties. Sometimes it's about walking away, knowing you chose yourself. And honestly, I'm proud of the girl who once cried in a bathroom stall, because she grew into the girl who no longer hides there. Now, when someone whispers about someone else, I speak up. Not to be a hero, but because I know what it feels like when someone doesn't. My secret was once weaponized against me, but I turned that pain into power. And now I own every part of my story, loudly, boldly, and unapologetically. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that revenge may feel sweet in the moment, but healing? That's real power. What Madison did to me was cruel. What I did in return, maybe justified in the eyes of some. But looking back now, I see something deeper. Hurt people, but healed people choose peace. Madison broke my trust in front of the entire school, and I wanted her to feel what I felt. But retaliation doesn't undo pain. It just passes it forward like a curse. And someone has to be brave enough to break that cycle. I wasn't proud of leaking her rejection, but it was the moment I stopped being the victim. It's just, I had to become someone else to realize who I really was all along. There's a version of me who stayed silent, who let the betrayal define her. But that's not my story anymore. Now I speak up. Now I own my story. Now I understand that the most powerful thing you can do when someone exposes your wounds is to heal them in the open. Because secrets only have power when they're kept in the dark. But when you bring them into the light, they stop being chains and become wings. So to anyone who's been hurt, betrayed, or humiliated, remember, you are not what they say. You are what you choose to become next.